Okay, I've got new information about Three Eye Atlas and then some important information about the 1111 portal. So happy Monday. It's Monday 11:10 and I have your energy update for the next few days. Hi, my name is Paula Taylor. I'm a sound and energy activator, intuitive reader and channeler, body worker and fearless alchemist, seraphim, and I coach people on the path to spiritual awakening. So I'm going to do my best. We're going to nerd out again. I could have started like, hey nerds, let's do it. We're going to frequency nerd out again. And I'm going to try to explain this information in a way that makes sense and concisely enough to fit it in this video. So I got some more information about Three Eye Atlas, and it's specifically about the 1111 portal, and I'll get into like how I know that. But essentially, what I was being shown was that we've been receiving kind of like these what appear to us to be ultra low frequencies, partly because it's far away, but it's been more like it's been a narrow band of frequency that was all kind of in the lower register, and that was intentional to stir up all the stuff that's been stirred up. So the struggle bus stuff, like that was stirring up that stuff because we needed to see it. We're still working through it. We need to release in order to accept what's coming next. So what they were showing me is like these vertically stacked frequencies, and almost like just layer upon layer upon layer of frequency. And this makes total sense to me because when I hear angelic sounds, they come through in that stacked frequency. And sometimes I try to like explain that to people, or people have tried to kind of like make music that mimics that. And there's nothing in this physical realm that can truly capture the depth, like the literal depth or the expansion of these frequencies, because in the angelic realm they kind of go on forever. It's just like frequency after frequency after frequency. And so what I mean by stacked frequencies, the easiest way to understand that from like a musical perspective is chords. Like chords are stacked frequencies. So the most common chord, major chord, is 1, 3, and 5. You can add a 7 on that. You can add another, like a 1, or you can add an 11, or there's numbers in music that we don't need to get into because I don't have enough time for that. But essentially, we're used to hearing stacked frequencies. That is what a chord is. These stacked frequencies start from these ultra low frequencies that are out of our hearing range, out of our human hearing range, and they stack all the way up through like the ultrasonic frequencies that are out of our hearing range. Are we going to hear these frequencies? Some of us might, because they are there are frequencies that are in the like realm of our hearing. They're not necessarily meant to be heard. They're received more as like frequency than sound. But some people who are sensitive or who are especially tuned, like I can hear, they haven't reached us yet, but I can hear kind of what they're going to hear, what they're going to sound like. And again, to me, these sound like angelic frequencies, the way that they're stacked, and the sheer volume of the frequencies is what I'm used to hearing from the angelic realm. So I was kind of like, all right, when does this start? And we'll talk a little about what it does, but when does this start? And like all of a sudden I realized I've been seeing 1111 everywhere. Tomorrow is 1111. If you take 4 11s, let's see if I can do this with my hands, 4 1s, and you stack them, you have these layers. You have like line, 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 line. So these are going to start being received by us tomorrow. Because it's still far away, it takes a while for the sound to travel, or the frequencies to travel. These are light frequencies too. I just speak in sound because sound makes more sense to my brain, but these are light codes as well, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So what these are doing, the light codes are actually activating layers of our quantum field that have been dormant. So that most of us have not been aware of or haven't been able to work with yet, because they're there, but like we haven't been able to perceive them. So some of these frequencies that are coming in are like light codes that are activating these layers of our quantum field that are going to add depth and dimension, and also allow us to expand even further. We need stability when we expand. And I always talk about, like, if you build a skyscraper, you have to have this really solid foundation. You have to have the structure all the way up, or the building will just fall over. Your field is the same way. We expand, but we still need stability within the field in order to kind of hold that space of expansion. So one of the things this is going to do is having more of these layers activated is going to give us more stability, so we don't feel as struggle bussy. We don't feel as like, whoa, what is happening to me? Because there's some stability within the expansion. The other thing that this is doing, and this is where the a little bit more difficult to hear but important to understand, what they were showing me is that these frequencies are actually like prying open sort of like the layers of the field. So like prying open these extra layers and starting to activate them. And as they get pried open, there's more room for things to come in, but also that's releasing things that need to be released, or it's opening space for things to come in. It's also opening the space for things that have been like stuck between those layers of frequency of energy to be released. So there's going to be more of this kind of intense release, and there's going to be more support through this stability. So what can you do to make use of this? I want to save time for an activation because I'm going to give you something to help you make use of this. But essentially what was coming through was like, be in some intentional vibration tomorrow. Of course, I'm going to say sound because that's my thing. But try to get outside if you can and just sit outside, even if it's for like 5 or 10 minutes. Go on YouTube and just like find a frequency that calls you. There's no specific frequency that does anything, even though everybody says that. If it resonates in your heart space, it resonates in your heart space. They might call it, this is for this. Like, use your discernment, use your own intuition for that, but be in some intentional frequency, whether that's a light frequency, whether that's a sound frequency, and definitely being outside is going to help just kind of allow this to come in without having to like pass through all the metal and the glass and the stuff that's in buildings. And then I'm going to give you this angelic activation that essentially is going to like begin to build the structure of this ability to stack. Because again, if you don't have stability in your field as these frequencies come in and stack, like it's just going to feel, it's like playing Jenga a little bit. It's like, there's a piece here that's missing and there's a piece here that's missing and the tower's all wobbly. So we want like a nice solid kind of stacked layer of frequencies to help stabilize this as it comes in. So don't do this while you're driving. Close your eyes if you'd like. Put a hand or both hands for this one maybe on your heart. I am a being of frequency would be a beautiful way to consent to this, or just put something to consent in the comments. And this is a powerful activation, so if you want to receive this fully, definitely consent. Otherwise, it's not going to come through all the way, which is just for your own safety, essentially. You get to decide whether you want to receive this or not. Takaya takia takaya takaya takia takaya takia takaya taka takia takaya taka takia takua taka kaya taka anakia takaya taka anakia taka aina ko taka anakia takaya taka anakia atuku anaka anakia takua taka anake ko taka na itaka na atakina utaka na atakana itaka na ka kuya naka atakia takaya nakia taka anakia takua takaya nakaya takaya nakaya takia nakaya takaya nakaya taka Kuya naka ietikia taka nikia taka unaka atikia naka unaka nikia naka unaka kuya naka shea naka unaka nake uya na ya na ya na ya na ya say ya na ya na ya na we ya na ya na we ya na ya na ya na ya na we yana 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 we yana 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 wa yana wa yana say Yamai, say Yamai, say Yamai, Yama. Remember that this is being done for us, not to us. Remember that you are loved. Remember that you are supported. Have a beautiful rest of your day.